it fits in more naturally in an HR context. Talent management, looking at how employees are in terms of skill sets, demographics across the board, as well as the employee experience element around feedback in the actual job role itself, integration with social media, of course, as well, and internal messaging platforms to potentially detect frustrations, cultural issues perhaps in the company, and help more manage those on a day-to-day basis, as opposed to manage them as an attrition event. So what we're going to move on to just now is tapping into a little bit of the natural language processing element that we think is ripe for the HR business function. We're going to do a quick demo just now on what's an assistant. So let me just scroll forward. We essentially I'm going to take you through how to set up a skill in what's an assistant, and we'll take a quick look at intents and entities, which are essentially the key ways to set that up. This is a tool which is very much accessible to HR execs. There's no code involved. We think it's the leading platform, really, essentially, for IVAs and intelligent virtual agents, which is essentially chatbot 2 or 3.0, depending on how you perceive how the technology has evolved. I'll do a dialogue run through as well, and we'll also have a look at what's in search at the end, which is an add-on service, essentially, which you'd need to upgrade your cloud subscription to make use of. To what's an assistant. So basically, this is the interface here, and this is the light version, which is free for anyone to use. The idea is between here, which is your what's an assistant or assistants, essentially the deployed version of a chatbot or an IVA, and here where you actually do the setup of the dialogue. We're going to be working here just so that you can see that. We've got one pre-prepared for you, but what's interesting here is also to look at what's available now, and this is constantly evolving as a solution. We use it. We've been using it probably for about 5 years. 5 years ago, you had the basic dialogue skill, which was essentially setting up, depending on the domain, build a chatbot, for example, for customer service for a telco, or build a chatbot for a legal firm to answer questions. The limited dialogue tended to be conversation based, pre-configured, scripted dialogue. Essentially, the learning element rather limited. Today, what we're seeing is the build-in of the machine learning capability to retrain the chatbot and the IVA in the background is very much a part of the tool. We can make use of that on we suggest monthly basis, essentially to scoop up the latest conversations with users, look at them, have a manual oversight, human in the loop, essentially, to go through and ensure that the responses that are coming back over the last month have been the most adequate. So what we're going to do today is just look at a dialogue skill, but I'll also touch on a search skill at the end, which is a sort of upgraded version that allows integration to back office, documentation, PDFs, Word documents, and so on, that can form a much more holistic response in a chatbot. Maybe if you're trying to search for some contractual terms or find out a bit more about a particular employee benefit. Okay, so what we've got here is a pre-prepared demo for HR. You'll see here I've started on the intents page. Really, the idea here is that you would set up themselves also have a content catalog, but rather limited to certain sectors. So what we've done is created one ourselves here around what is the intent of the user when they interact with this tool. In an HR perspective, is it around, you know, a simple greeting? Is it a complaint? Is it about employee benefits? Is it an admin issue, and so on? Is it about the organizational structure? Is it about payroll? So we've got a number of those, and they get combined with intents here, entities, which are essentially the objects or the nouns in the text that goes through the chatbot. So what is it we're actually talking about? Are there people involved? Is it about specific services the company offers? Is it about team members? Is it about payment, salary, wages, tax, and so on? So between these two things, they all get hooked up in this kind of tree structure. I'm not going to take you through that today, but if you're interested in that, we can set up a one-to-one demo and show you how you might configure it if you're interested in doing it yourself. It is a drag and drop interface, so very much tapping into another trend we're seeing in 21 around no code, low code. And you can see here, you know, between initial greetings and specifically what the end user might be asking about. Is it about a role? Is it about benefits, and if they're already in the company? You know, again, we're looking at the three different perspectives really that I talked about at the start of this webinar. Is it about recruitment? Is it about someone that's already in the company and they're looking to upskill? Or is it about someone that's, you know, about to leave or established in the company? Okay, so let's have a look at this. So here's the interface to the chatbot, and obviously the idea, this is Watson assistant. This is a skill, so as opposed to an assistant, the skill is where you do the back-end configuration. The assistant was where you deploy it as an endpoint solution. So we've got a simple greeting there, and then supposing we want to find out about job application. Is it an open position, or do we want to just check the status of an existing one? Well, let's see. It's an open position. We'll then ask, is this technical? Is it a business related issue? Let's see, this is a technical role. Okay, and we get some help there that there are there's a machine learning engineer and an ML product success engineer as the only open positions. And this is really where something that Watson Search would come in to help add value really in the response. We've got a little placeholder response here. If I was to click on that link that we're given, you know, we go straight to that page where that particular job role is advertised. This is a live role from CGI for a well-paid robotics and machine learning engineer for anyone that's interested. So that's the kind of thing that where there's a handoff that we're seeing increasingly with likes of Watson Assistant. That's become much better. We can integrate that with whatever your requirement is to search for specific documents in-house that are hosted on SharePoint, for instance, about the live roles, or if it's something that's buried away, maybe in an employee benefits handbook, then we can go and search that document and pull back information from that, all without necessarily human intervention, rather human oversight in the training process, which would take place, you know, on a month-to-month basis. So what else we've got here? We've got suppose it's asking us, do we want any more help? Okay, let's take a different perspective on this. So supposing this is someone who is in the company and they are looking for help with share options. We get a response there about the right to buy a certain number of shares at a fixed price. Natural question might be, is there a reduced price for an employee? Okay, and we're pointed again, and this is again where something like Watson Search would give you more value. In our case, we've given a little placeholder link here. Let's see what that says. Okay, so it's taking us to a joke page about stock options. But you know, the idea is that we can do those handoffs much better today in 2021 with this kind of tool than 5 years ago. So I'm going to sign off on this. With a question really about life insurance. Let's kind of morbid question. May pass. That capability is there now, albeit is it on a cost model, not on the free tier as we're showing here. So let's see what this gives us. Okay, and that's, you know, got a link there to Watson Search really, so you can have a read about that in your own time. So that these two tools work very well together, we think. Okay, so I'm going to sign off there. And we're going to go back to slides here. So really, just a quick word about how, you know, how we're seeing this in 2021. This slide is a bit more generic than just on this. And for anyone that had Windows Vista and back in 2010, Cortana was diabolical, really, as a chatbot. It's laughable. It's still there, and that has improved as well. But there are other better tools out there. We think Watson Assistant really is the leader in this. And you know, I've only shown you a kind of quick overview of what's available there, but you can see on the slide social media interfaces to pick out the latest tweets or Facebook insights, perhaps around employees or wider stakeholders across the company, both internal social media and external. The ability to do that unstructured document search and retrieval, things like forecasting of number of employees coming online in the next quarter, and providing that kind of mobile insight, because you know, chatbots are well established as technologies really today for accessing on mobile. So that's just some of the capabilities really that we're seeing today. I'm going to hand over to my colleague Simi now, who is going to take you through this next demo